Hey class, welcome to Module 5. So we've got another weekly check-in for you folks. I'm going to do that every week, as I said, just to let you folks get stuff off your chest, talk about what you're doing, converse with each other. I'm trying to do some kind of participation in it, but been having a little bit of trouble. Not a whole lot of time for that kind of stuff, but I will inject myself into them when possible. This week's topic is the treatment, and I'm not talking about like medical treatment, although I think by now probably all of us need some kind of treatment for something, mental health mainly. When I'm talking about a treatment, this is another part of the script writing process. Okay, so writing script is like going on an adventure, and I found this really beautiful picture of somebody camping, professionally lit and everything else, with a nice wide angle lens and a very expensive tent from REI. Here they are, they're camping, okay? But going on an adventure, writing a script, you shouldn't do either of these things without a map, okay? You could just write freestyle like you did on your first assignment, and that was totally intentional. That's what I wanted you to do, just to see where you folks were. You could hope all of your plot points land in the right place. You end up with a halfway decent climax and an ending that more or less resolve your script. You can also drive to a beautiful remote spot just like this, strap on your gear and just go for it, and the result will be the same. You'll be eaten by bears, or caught in a forest fire or something. Something terrible will happen to you and your script, and you don't want that. So you want to write a treatment first, before you go camping or before you write a script, okay? And that's to work out the kinks in your story, character development problems, dead ends, and unsatisfying resolutions. You work that out in the treatment. So you struggle during the planning phase of your writing so you don't have to when you're writing the real thing, which is the dialogue, the action description, all the juicy stuff, the stuff that you want to have some nice flow for. You don't want to be struggling with that because you kind of didn't do the planning part. You want to do the planning part. You want to create that roadmap. Okay. So what is a treatment? It's an outline basically, but written in complete sentences. Okay, instead of bullet points. It's everything that happens in your story from the beginning to the end, with the exception of dialogue, although you might have some important lines there and a few details you come up with later. You'll see some that have blanks where the character's name should be. It may also include your character's complete backstories and other formative events that don't fit into the actual script, but they're still very, very important. It may be super duper detailed and even longer than your script in some cases. I've heard of 400-page treatments. It also may be very lean and sketchy, okay? Because that's what the person needed when they did it. It is whatever you need it to be. It is your roadmap to script writing success, to finish off that metaphor. It will keep you safe from the bears, okay? Now, formatting rules. And you folks know I like rules about formatting. You know, you read my comments on your scripts. But the great thing about treatments is there isn't really any set of specific rules for how you write a treatment. Yeah, there's the way one person writes it, there's the ways another person does, and if they're famous, then someone else is going to follow that. That's the way things work. But there aren't any specific rules for it, okay? Except for standard rules of grammar, spelling, and logic, which we also use in scripts. But I do have a few tips for you. One is write in present tense, just like your script. That will save you so many headaches later on. If you write in past tense, novelistically, you're going to look at your treatment while you're writing your script, and you're going to slip into past tense in your script, and you're going to have to fix all that stuff. Write in present tense in your treatment, then you've got a one-to-one relationship between where you are in one place and where you are in the other. Also, write in whatever style helps you the most. If you want it to be super duper detailed, then do that. If you want it to be really short, terse sentences that just get to the point, no fat in it, do that, okay? But you also want to write in a way that articulates your idea well enough that you can hand it off to a friend or an acquaintance or an old enemy, ex-girlfriend, whatever, to read and say, hey, this is the story idea I'm working on. What do you think? And then they can look at it and say, oh, this is great, honey. Or they can say, this sucks, just like everything you've ever done. Or they'll say, oh, this is intriguing. I like this. I will continue. Yeah, this has a lot of potential here. I like this. You never know. But you want to be able to write it in a way that is going to articulate your idea well enough that someone is going to be able to read that and then give you some honest feedback. And honest feedback is going to be an important part of this class. Further down, the treatment is a good place to start with that. So I have some examples of treatments. Click on these and read these. They're not that long, most of them. I Am Legend 2 is a little on the long side, and it's whatever, it's garbage, but it's a good example of garbage. I've got the Star Wars, which was George Lucas's original outline for Episode 4, A New Hope, which was never known as that. It was always called Star Wars, and it's still called Star Wars. I don't know what you young folks did, but it's not supposed to be Episode 4, A New Hope. That's just bullshit that was added later. But anyway, I've got the treatment for it. Batman Year One, which there are numerous treatments for Batman Year One, which is an attempt to try to take the Frank Miller version of Batman, at least one of his incarnations, and to try to create a movie out of it. And we got Batman Begins, which has a little bit of that, but it's not the same thing. I Am Legend 2, which I mentioned before, because I Am Legend had left so many unanswered questions. Of course, you had to have a sequel. Whatever. And then also Souvenirs, which is the treatment for my own film, Deadly Souvenirs. So you can see an example of, somebody who wrote a treatment for a film. So I'm actually putting rubber to the road here. There we go. So I want you to read all of these, or at least look at them and read one of them. And I know which one you're probably going to read, because that's just how it works. And that's fine. And you're going to meet me over in the treatment discussion, which I'm going to right now. So in the treatment discussion, which is where we are right now, I want you to answer these 3 questions. 1, what are the differences stylistically between the treatments? So you will notice some differences. I want you to talk about that. How are they different from scripts format-wise? There are going to be some similarities, some differences. And then how are they similar? And then how is the Star Wars different from the actual film that was made? I would like those of you who've never seen the film, which is probably half of you or none of you, to answer that. But it is considerably different from the movie. And why do you think this happened? Hazard a guess, do some research, whatever it takes to get to that. Next, we have our treatment Dropbox. So your treatment is your next big assignment, and that is going to be due October 13th. Okay, so, and my due dates are now going to be Tuesdays. I've fixed that. So submit your completed treatment here. Do a PDF, output a PDF if possible. You can use a script writing program in order to write your treatment, but you don't have to. You can use a standard word processor for that. You could use Google Docs without the screenwriting add-on if you want. But export a PDF if you can, and that way I can give you full annotations on it to be as helpful as I can. And that's it for this week. We're going to focus on the treatments and talk about that. And I will be giving you grades and comments very shortly on your character sheets. Okay? Have a good week. Talk to you later.